Going to consider today is which says that the main planks between India and China. Argument that they claim their territorial area from the King Dynasty era. Okay, so the entire Ladakh, the region of Ladakh, part of Ladakh was part of King Dynasty, as they say, and thus it belongs to China. Similar are their arguments in South China Sea and with other countries as well, like with Bhutan, the Eastern Corridor, or with Nepal. So China is having aggressive nature, and there are tensions with all countries. Okay, China is having border disputes with all its neighbors. So what is now being done that in the light of this very little progress on this disengagement and de-escalation on LAC, and which is, we all claim the 21st century is the century of Asia, with Asia and China, India and China moving hand in hand towards progress. Okay, this is the rhetoric for today. But with the ambition of China becoming global numero uno by displacing US, and its aggressive nature has hampered this hand-in-hand progress of Sino-Indian relationship in the 21st century. Okay, so the aggression of China has hampered our mutual progress, and China has started seeing India as its foe rather than a friend. Okay, so what the article says, the article presents various planks for India, and what are those planks? The article mentions that the India has options to create or to improve its military capabilities, to create a deterrence, right? India can create deterrence by improving its military capabilities. And with improvement in military capabilities, India can secure its geostrategic interest. Okay, not only in on Indo-China border, but also on the Indian Ocean region, where China is now active. Okay, So geostrategic interest of India can be secured. Right, these geostrategic interest of India can be secured if we create a military deterrence by improving our capabilities, our power, fire weapons, frontline deployment capabilities. All those can be improved. And also there is one this organization, Military Strike Corps. This is a dedicated corps for mountain warfare regions. Okay, so this was proposed with 3 units, but still only we have 1 unit. And the writer or the author of this article says that India must raise this mountain strike corps in addition to its state of the art weapons, because we must know how to use our arms or our weapons or our men in army. If we not only having them is it is not enough to have them only. Okay, so this mountain corps is a dedicated corps which can handle the dynamics of entire China-India border, especially in Arunachal Pradesh and in Ladakh region. Okay, especially in this Arunachal Pradesh and in this Ladakh region. These are the major areas of tension between India and China, having high mountainous terrain, and this mountain troop is very well equipped with weapons like light howitzer guns. Okay, so light howitzer guns, they have ready deployment technology, light weapons, and other equipments which improves their capabilities in this mountain warfare. Okay, what the writer now suggesting that India should put more efforts on non-military tools available, because they can be low-hanging fruits and can give better returns on India's investment. Okay, so what are these non-military tools available with India? The first thing that the writer claims is diplomatic offensive. Here this says that we have to convey the right message to create international opinion to create international opinion favoring India. Okay, a global opinion towards India's peaceful. Okay, towards India's peaceful. Okay, to show world that India is a peace-loving nation. Okay, to create a global opinion towards India's peaceful intentions vis-a-vis China's aggressive ambitions. Presently, during the COVID scenario, we can see that there is anti-China emotions. These anti-China emotions are gaining currency globally. Okay, they are gaining currency or rising globally. So India can exploit these emotions and can convey a message that we are a peace-loving country. What we want is the status quo on our borders, so that there is no dispute, there are no fights. But what China wants is a kind of aggression, not only in India but with countries like Japan, Vietnam, or with India or other countries in its neighborhood. Okay, so we can show this to the globe, to the entire world. Then in another thing where India can invest is to cultivate foreign leaders who can convey its message, as we did in the past. Okay, we had foreign leaders, and we need to revitalize groups like NAM, because investing in smaller countries, providing them monetary and other aids, help us gain support on the global platform. Okay, these NAM countries is a group of developing and least developed countries which can help India on global platforms, like UN. Okay, like UN, on global platforms like UN. And recently India gained 184 out of 196 votes to gain the non-permanent membership of UN. Okay, it was a recent thing. So if India has a better clout among these NAM nations or the developing nations, India can better put its viewpoint to the globe. Okay, we can better garner support against China. We can also upgrade our untied aid program, as we did in Afghanistan. Okay, we did in Afghanistan, we did in Maldives, we did in Africa, where we provided aid with no attached ties. We only did to create better image for ourselves. Okay, it was to create better image for India, a kind of soft diplomacy effort. Okay, soft diplomacy effort, and this has worked out. Actually, it has worked out, and the results can be seen in Afghanistan, where people are very much against other nations, but they are having a positive image for India and Indians. Okay, Afghanistan is a good example for such soft diplomacy investments of India. And India need to show globe or the world countries that the China's loans are subjugative. The OBOR project of China or the other loan projects that China provides, they are subjugative, while India's ties are the aid programs of India are untied. Okay, so this can help us also. This can also improve our geopolitical image. This can also garner support on various platforms, can support our anti-China policy, can put pressure on China to reduce its aggression. Okay, then we have this cultural heritage thing. So what is this cultural heritage? India has been a hub of spiritual and religious values. Okay, so in our soft diplomacy, we need to use these values. Okay, so this article says that India has been appeasing China by distancing itself from Dalai Lama, and this is the mistake that India has committed, and we need to come back. We should not commit this mistake again of avoiding Dalai Lama. We need to come closer to Dalai Lama and raise him, and so that India could become the flag bearer of Himalayan Buddhism, and this would help us gain support in among Himalayan nations, in which who also are neighbors, the countries in our neighborhood like Bhutan, Nepal, Afghanistan. Okay, Then we also would have a greater access, or you can say voice in Tibet, which the also India raised the Tibet issue in recently on the global platform. Okay, so we need to raise these issues. We need to gain currency among the population of these nations, or these areas, or these regions, so that India could become the flag bearer in many a terms among these nations, among these people. Okay, this also would put pressure on China, as China is also seeking this Himalayan Buddhism, the torch bearer of this Himalayan Buddhism. But China has failed in many of its attempts in doing so because of the Tibet issue. So India could gain from this Chinese failure. Okay. And the last thing that article says that India should, rather than much focusing on West, rather than tilting more towards West or Quad, as India recently invited Australia to Quad. So rather than tilting more towards West, India should improve its relation in the neighborhood with Nepal and Bangladesh. We should focus on our allies like Iran and Vietnam, and this could help India to gain better control in its sphere. Okay, to gain better control or increase its sphere of influence. Okay, to increase its sphere of influence, which would also deter China in taking anti-India steps. So these are the things that can be used in our international relations part, Indo-China, Sino-Indian relations. Okay, India-China relations. And then there's another viewpoint with security paper, GS paper 3, where we can mention the problem of Chinese incursions and India's territorial security. Okay, so the next topic we are moving ahead for is the trade surplus. Okay, so recently our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal claimed that India has recorded a trade surplus. It is the first time we have witnessed this trade surplus in 18 years. The reason is India is having very high imports, and decreasing exports, as we had seen in past few years that India's exports are not performing as per their capabilities. Okay, and the problem with our imports is that they are mandatory or necessary kind of imports, like oil. Okay, like oil, which is the basis, which forms the basis for running of Indian economy. Okay, the transportation, logistics sector, energy generation sector. So oil is one of our necessary imports, and we are not much able to reduce our imports. But in the recent time, we have seen that other imports which were in major demand, like gold, gems, and jewelry, they have seen a sharp decline. There has been a demand slump, and the electronic items from China, they have seen a demand slump recently. And this slump has led to decline in imports on a large scale, a shortfall, a very deep, sharp decline in imports, and vis-a-vis the decline in exports. Okay, so the decline in imports is sharper than the decline in exports, and this has created the trade surplus for India. So what are the things, or the data given by the ministry is that the total trade has been declining for India since January. Okay, and it became lowest in April, and it is all due to COVID-19. Okay, the coronavirus or the corona pandemic has hit the Indian economy, even the world economy, is very hardly. Okay, so but in May, after opening of the lockdown, the picking up, or the, you can say, revitalizing, दोबारा से खड़ी हुई Indian economy, and then the deficit, there was decline in trade, but in May and June there was upheaval again, है ना. So then this trade deficit reduced consistently from January and recorded a surplus in June. So these blue bars, they show that the trade of India from January 2019 which has declined very sharply in this lockdown period, then March to May. Okay, then increase in May is witnessed, and then in June. This is a trade, okay, total trade of India, and this red line here, which represents the trade deficit of India. So this line shows that trade deficit was on continuous decline. Okay, this rise shows that trade deficit is reducing. Okay, so as because we are moving from negative to zero, so that with this rise is representing the reduce in trade deficit. So and this rise is maximum in the month of June. A very steep slope in June shows that we have witnessed sharp decrease in our trade deficit. Okay, the country has recorded trade surplus of $793 million in June. Okay, with trade deficit of $3.1 billion in May. Right. Then this article says that we have witnessed, or the data here shows that we have witnessed less selling, and this is due to demand decline in demand. Okay, the imports have contracted, and this is because of slump in demand. Recently there was a data that the mobiles or the smartphones, their sale has been declined by 48% in this April to June quarter. Okay, in this April to June quarter. So this 48% decline shows that Indians are now preferring for more valuable things in present scenario. These valuable means necessary for their survival. Okay, necessary for survival, like food, etc. So Indians are spending most of their income on this part now, rather than investing on goods, luxury goods, or other usable goods like these phones or other. So there has been a demand slump, which has led to reduce or less selling. Okay, and this has further led to reduction in our imports, improving our trade deficit and leading to trade surplus. Okay, so these are the figures that in May the country's total exports were $19 billion, while the imports were $22 billion. Okay, and 1 billion, which is over $1 billion more than that in June. The imports, they are $1 billion more than one in June. And this graph shows that the imports of India after this January 2020 has been on continuous decline, and the exports are also on continuous decline. But in after the trend reversal in May, there has been increase in exports, which is greater than increase in imports. Okay, the steep slope of this exports it is steeper than the slope of imports. Then the third thing is commodity wise exports. So this zero here shows that there are things on the right side of the zero, this in this chart, are the things that have increased, or the percentage of their export or import increase, that is positive one, and those on the left side are having negative rate of growth, that is okay, decline. Here we have positive rate of growth, and here we have negative rate of growth, right? So what is happening, this chart shows that India has witnessed this export increase in this 4 commodities only. Okay, only 4 commodities have witnessed growth. Only these 4 commodities have witnessed growth. What are these? These are pharma products. As we all know that India has been supplying the hydroxychloroquine and other medicals, or the specific very special medicines to the world, and this has led to improve our exports in pharma sector. Then rice. Okay, so we had a bumper crop in our Rabi season, and now we are in our Kharif season, and now we are exporting it to which is demand for food products is increasing worldwide, and thus our rice exports. The spice, it is almost on the verge of zero, that is there has been a very slight or very less growth. Then iron ore, it has been in continuous demand due to infrastructure projects world over going on, and the fruits and vegetables, they are also near zero. So these are the 4 products that have witnessed the growth in April to June quarter quarter 1 of financial year 21 as compared to the percentage in quarter 1 of financial year 2020. Okay. Then there has been a decline in commodity of imports. This article or this data explains that so see the zero is here. So there is negative growth on all the elements here. So the most of decline has been seen in gold, around minus 90%, and then this new electronics item have also seen a 50%. I told you 48% decline on mobiles. So it's a similar figure. Then there has been decline on almost all items, even the petroleum and crude. It is transportation has halted, the movement, the logistics has halted. So people, there is less consumption of this petroleum and crude products. Okay, so there has been a sharp decline in our imports, and this has created the trade surplus. This is an economic concept which you must understand, and it can be directly asked in a UPSC paper, especially in the prelims part. Okay. So this trade surplus improves our balance of payment scenario. Okay. So the next thing that Ministry of Health, Union Ministry of Health has provided a caution against use of this N95 mask. Okay, the use of N95 valve mask. What they say, first let me explain you what are these N95 valve masks. Actually, this N95 valve masks are here the N in N95 stand for non-oil. That is, this mask can be used, meaning it can be used based if no oil based particulates are not present. That is, this mask is able to capture the particulates which are non-oily in nature. Okay, which are non-oily in nature. And the 95 means that it can absorb 95% of the particulate matter entering the mask. Okay, with air. Okay, so this is the meaning of a 95 mask, and the valve is provided in this mask to improve breathing and reduce the heat buildup. But what the ministry says, the Union Health Ministry has provided several guidelines. Earlier they said that the N95 mask is a good mask, but recently there came several points that this mask do not prevent the virus from escaping out. So if example, so let us take an example. If a person with COVID infection is wearing this mask, sneezes in the public, then the virus from his mask would come out and would spread to people nearby. Okay, so this COVID-19, this N95 mask is not very much, the mask with valve is not very much capable of preventing the spread of COVID virus. Okay, there has been guidelines. So the government has said that there should be the prevention of inappropriate use of N95 mask. And the government earlier came with the guidelines that people need to wear mask which is at least homemade. Okay, there are mandatory guidelines of wearing mask, and the government says that it should be at least homemade protective cover, especially of cotton, and it should cover our mouth and nose both completely, and should be washed daily. Okay, it says that it should be washed and cleaned on daily basis. Okay, and it should be used whenever we step out of our residences, and it should not be shared with anyone. These are the guidelines of Ministry of Health or the central government, so that to prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus. Our another news, another topic which we are going to discuss is the new parliament building. Okay, so let me give you a glimpse of this old parliamentary building or the Sansad Bhavan situated in Lutyens, Delhi. So as per Ministry of the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says in an answer in Rajya Sabha that the construction of our present parliament began in 1921 and ended or commissioned in 1927. It was during British colonial era, and finally India got this building as its parliamentary house or Sansad Bhavan in 1951 with the formation of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay. So this is situated in Lutyens, Delhi. Actually, Lutyens was architect who designed this part of central Delhi. Recently, government proposed the construction of new parliamentary building. Okay, what the government has said that there has been signs of distress and overutilization. The building is not sufficient for the present work. Okay, it is unable to accommodate the work in present scenario. So the ministry or the government says has proposed the construction of new parliamentary building. Even the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has also passed one such proposal for revamping this central zone. This Mahupa, this Ministry of Urban Affairs has proposed or gave in 2019. They said they gave a project called Central Vista Redevelopment Project. Central Vista Redevelopment Project in 2019. Okay, this Mahua. Oh, sorry, Ministry of Urban Affairs. Okay, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. They have given this Central Vista Redevelopment Project in 2019, and under this project they have proposed revamping of 3 kilometer path from Rashtrapati Bhavan, from here this Rashtrapati Bhavan till India Gate. From this Rashtrapati Bhavan till India Gate, it is to be revamped. Construction of a common central secretariat on both sides of this road. Okay, common central secretariat to house all the ministries in the secretariat. Okay, it has also proposed that the earlier north and south block, which is housing the present ministries like defense and others, these north and south blocks, they are to be turned into a museum. They are turned into public museum, and a triangular design parliamentary building has been proposed. Triangular design parliamentary building has been proposed. Okay. So this is the Central Vista Redevelopment Project under the Central Vista Committee. It is given the task of building this new Parliament building. Those what has happened in recently, why it is in news? This project was proposed in early 2020, in around March, and recently there has been a petition in Supreme Court. Okay, recently there has been a petition in Supreme Court, and as per the online cause list of Supreme Court, it seems that Supreme Court has accepted the petition against this new parliamentary building, which will be heard in a few days. Okay, and what the petitioners are saying, the Ministry of Urban Affairs, Housing Urban approved with the observation that the new parliamentary building should be in synchronization with existing parliamentary buildings. Okay, as per their minutes of meeting. So they have approved this parliamentary building project. So what the petitioners are saying that such a move would damage our heritage, our cultural heritage. It will damage our cultural heritage, as this Lutyens Delhi is a heritage site. Okay, it's a heritage site, and such a move would damage our heritage and would also be a wastage of public money. So this proposal, if there is a requirement, a committee can well inquire into such requirements and can go ahead with the need of new parliamentary building. But there should be avoidance of issues like one in Andhra Pradesh, where the one party constructed a building, kind of secretariat, kind of government building on the banks of Krishna River in near Amravati. It was, I think, during Chandrababu Naidu government, but later when the government changed, what happened? The new government demolished this, they demolished this building, saying that it is not in conformation with the environmental clearances. Okay, they said that it is situated on the river bank or flood bank. So what happened in this whole scenario? I'm just telling you because initially there was an investment to build or create or to construct this building, and later there was an investment to demolish this building. So we should not waste public money in this manner. This is my point. And if there is a need for new building, a committee, a dedicated committee should inquire into this need, and then there can be, okay, we can move ahead with our needs. The next topic I am going to discuss today is China repeat claim on Bhutan seized. Okay, so what China did recently, China has claimed that the eastern Bhutan part with that Sakteng forest sanctuary is a disputed region. Okay, they say that the Sakteng, they suppose this is Bhutan. So earlier there were disputes on this western boundary with Bhutan and this on northern boundary, this middle section. So this is western section, this is middle section, and here we have Tawang. Okay, so now China says that there is a dispute also on this eastern section, and this contention has this point has never been in contention. This territory has never been in contention. So this shows that aggression of China has no bounds now. They want to create problems for their neighbor. Okay, and there are other vested interests of China as well. What are those vested interests? Actually, China proposed a deal in 1996. China proposed a territory swap deal. This territory swap deal to Bhutan was to exchange this middle disputed section in exchange with western disputed section. That is, Bhutan will give this larger area middle section to Bhutan. China will give this middle section larger area to Bhutan in exchange for this western section. Now, why China is interested in this western section? The China is interested in this western section because of Siliguri corridor and the Doklam region. What is this Siliguri corridor? The chicken snack. Actually, this northern Indian part is like a chicken snack, and this forms a choke zone for India, which is roughly 50 km in width. Okay, and it is an important corridor or transport line for connecting India to northeast, connecting the mainland India with the northeast. Okay, so if China gains access to this western part, this Chumbi Valley and Doklam region, it will have advantage. It will have advantage in case of war to easily gain access to this Chumbi Valley and choke this point to cut off India's access to its northeast. And this is the same reason that why India has been developing that Kaladan port, this Myanmar, this is India's northeast. Okay, this is northeast. So we have been developing this Kaladan multimodal project from this Kolkata port to this port here in Sitwe in Myanmar, then through Kaladan river to Mizoram, okay, in Manipur. So this project, Kaladan multimodal river project, has been part of India's strategy to create an alternative route to northeast and also provide northeast access to ocean. Okay, easier access, shorter route to ocean और ट्रेड है ना, ट्रेड पॉइंट्स के लिए, ताकि यहाँ से आसानी से नॉर्थ ईस्ट का जो ट्रेड मटेरियल है वो एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट किया जा सके. दैट्स द पॉइंट. So this Siliguri corridor is India's security issue, and China is trying to gain from this issue. Okay, China is trying to gain advantage on this point by gaining this western region near Chumbi Valley. And this is the point where Doklam is actually situated, and we have witnessed that the Doklam standoff between India and China in 2017-18. Okay, so this Doklam is a strategic point. Actually, this whole region is a strategic point for India, and if China gains access to larger part of this region, they can easily control this Siliguri corridor, which is against the interest of India. Okay, so if there are border tensions, if China want to create tensions in these regions, it would be easy for them. So this northern border region, this disputed region, China is offering to Bhutan in exchange for this region. Okay, This region is in more area. Okay, you can see that this area is more than this western corridor region, this western disputed region. Okay. So since Bhutan is our ally, what China did, China recently claimed that this in UNDP-led Global Environment Facility, actually this facility provide funds. This facility provide funds for environmental conservation efforts, right? So what China did, they tried to stop this fund for Bhutan's Sakteng Forest Sanctuary, claiming the area being disputed. But this attempt was an unsuccessful attempt, as with the Indian delegate, with the support of Indian delegate, China got this grant, or China was granted, Bhutan was granted this funding, right? So it is a kind of failure, it is kind of failure for China and a success for Bhutan and India, similar to Doklam issue. But India needs to be worried that China can use these things in future, okay, to its interest. Then there has been a portal called Manodarpan portal. What is this Manodarpan portal? Actually, this portal has been launched by MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource and Development. The Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has launched this portal, and the aim of this portal is to solve the mental health issues, to address the mental stress issues of students, specifically for students of school, college and post-graduation levels. And there has been experienced counselors and psychologists on this helpline. Students can use this helpline, or even they can chat through this website of Manodarpan. This is the helpline number 844-0632. Students can take this helpline. You can make use of this helpline to get better counseling, to remove their stress, okay, especially in the present COVID-19 scenario, okay, in this pandemic scenario. So this is kind of better initiative towards mental health issues of students by the Union Education Ministry, and this is for providing mental and emotional health support to students, and it also contains a chat platform. So I think I've done enough for today, and with this I would like to end for today. Thank you for the day.